This man stepped into a red phone booth without noticing that an iron door behind him was slowly closing shut. He inserted a coin to make a call, but the phone was broken and wouldn't connect at all. Furious that he had wasted $1, he turned to leave, only to discover that the iron door wouldn't open. Confused, he assumed it was some stupid prank meant to trap him inside for a few minutes. The sunlight was unusually harsh, shining directly onto him and slowly making him more irritated. Two men on their way to work passed by, and he quickly started banging on the glass for help. They came closer. His voice couldn't escape outside, but they understood through his gestures. They pulled from outside while he pushed with all his strength from inside, but the door didn't move even slightly. More people slowly gathered around. The two men checked their watches and realized they had to leave for work. He smiled weakly and waved goodbye. After a while, laborers and office workers also stopped to stare. A strong man stepped forward and tried pulling the door open with force. Even after the handle broke off, he failed, and the crowd started laughing. Then he tried smashing the glass with his body, but even that didn't work. Embarrassed, he walked away. An experienced mechanic arrived. He inspected the booth carefully, but couldn't find a single screw. He tried prying it open from the edges, but nothing worked. In the end, he reattached the broken handle and left. As the crowd grew larger, a small world formed around him. There were shoe polishers, balloon sellers, and even people secretly stealing food from nearby stalls, yet no one could free him. Exhausted and helpless, he sat down on the floor. Soon, a fire truck arrived. The firefighters examined the booth and prepared to break the glass from above. Fear filled him as he imagined shards of glass raining down onto him. But then someone stopped them. A group of men in matching uniforms appeared and claimed they were employees of the phone booth company. They announced that the faulty booth would be taken away for repairs. He couldn't understand what was happening. He desperately tried to stop them, but his voice still couldn't escape outside. The crowd comforted him, telling him not to worry, as the booth was loaded onto a truck and driven away. As the vehicle moved farther from the city, seeing himself trapped on the road started feeling surreal. At one traffic signal, he saw a funeral procession carrying a transparent coffin, eerily similar to his own situation. At the next signal, he saw another person trapped inside an identical red phone booth. That's when he realized the horrifying truth. This was all a conspiracy. He began pounding on the glass and screaming for help, but people outside thought he was simply waving, so they smiled and waved back at him. Hungry, thirsty, and completely exhausted, he collapsed in despair. The truck finally reached an isolated location. Missing his family, he looked at photographs of his wife and son, unable to understand what terrible mistake had led him here. Then a military helicopter appeared overhead. Gathering the last of his strength, he screamed for help, but the helicopter flew right past him. It was guiding the same truck forward. Deep in the mountains, he arrived at a horrifying facility where these phone booths were being manufactured, booths whose doors could never be opened. Every booth was a prison for a human being. A train lifted his booth and placed it onto a conveyor belt. In front of him were many others just like him, all trapped forever. Their fates could not be changed, because when no one can hear your voice, no one comes to save you. And if nobody could hear your voice, what would you change first?